Hi guys, and welcome back to another Veganuary recipe video. So yes, firstly I did dye my hair blue. I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I just kind of had temporary hair dye for it, so I thought why not while I'm in lockdown. So that's explaining this. For today's video we are going to be making a vegan steak and onion pie. Now this will be the last video of Veganuary for this year. I may still do more vegan recipes throughout the year. We shall see of what comes and what I can find. So for that, we'll just get straight into this video and we'll start with the recipe as usual. So first thing first, we are of course going to be using some puff pastry. So instead of making it, because I don't want to overcomplicate myself as it's me and I'm not the best at this situation, we've got some Just Roll because they are vegan. So we're going to be using some Just Roll vegan puff pastry. Then again, we're going to be using some Just Roll short crust pastry for the, I guess, outer, like the bottom half of the pie. So we're not just going to be making a stew with some puff pastry on top, we're going to be making a full pie, fingers crossed. So you are going to want a tablespoon of some tomato sauce, any's fine, I just get the cheapest. You are going to want half an onion. You are also going to need some vegan gravy granules. For this recipe I'm using 300 grams of corn mince, or any other vegan mince alternative should be fine. We're going to be using some pepper to taste, and finally half a teaspoon of oregano. Now, as well as all these ingredients listed here, you can also add 2 teaspoons of vegan Worcestershire sauce, but I don't have any of that, so we're just going to miss that one out for now. Okay, so once we've peeled our onion, we want to finely chop it up. So we'll start with trimming off the edges as always. Now for this recipe, it does recommend a full onion, however it also suggests using 500 grams of vegan mince, which I could only find 300 grams of corn. So we shall just use half an onion, as I've just limited down the intake, just so that it's not too oniony going into the pie. Now if we was using the full 500 grams like it suggests, we would have to use the full onion. Now once you've finally chopped your onion, you just want to heat up about 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil. Now this recipe does not state at what temperature or at what stage you add the onions, so we'll just wait a few minutes for that oil to heat up a little bit and then we'll add our onions straight away. Okay, so once your oil is heated up a little bit, you want to add your finely chopped onion into the pan. Got a trusty wooden spoon. And just stir it and make sure the pieces that you've chopped are broken up. So you want to heat these up just until they've softened. So once the onions have softened, you want to add your mince. Now the good thing about this recipe is once you've made the filling for your pie, you can keep it refrigerated or even freeze it for a later date, so you don't have to add it straight to a pie. So if there is extra, which I'm assuming there will be from all this, I will be leaving this in the freezer to have another day. So you just want to stir this frequently for about 5 minutes until it's being cooked off. Okay, so while our mince and onions are being cooked, we're just going to start on the gravy. So you want the gravy quite thick, so I usually just pour a few gravy granules in, it's always an estimate. And you want around 250 millilitres, so we're just going to go 200 just because we're using a bit less mince. And of course, stir this in. Now if you don't have gravy granules, you can use vegetable stock with some gravy browning, I think it was. I'll obviously be dropping the recipe in the description below. Now this recipe is a specific Veganuary recipe on their website, so this is the first time I'm actually trying out a Veganuary recipe. Sure, it should be quite thick, so we'll leave that and then we'll wait for our mince to finish cooking. So once the mince is nearly done and it's been cooked down, you want to add your thick gravy. Now of course if it doesn't seem like a lot, you can always just add more later on. So we'll do what the recipe says and hope. If not, we can just of course add some more. Okay, so we are also going to add a tablespoon of tomato sauce. We're going to add half a teaspoon of oregano and black pepper to taste. Now I quite like a lot of black pepper, so we'll just do a few cracks. I've just smashed the thing. I don't know where that's just come from. But yeah, I've just smashed this, so that's fun. We'll just stir this all in. Now of course you can add your own seasonings if you have a certain one that you want to try, or if there's anything specific that you quite like. I'm just going to stick to recipe today, but obviously as time comes you can always change it up a bit if you'd like. So we're just going to stir it all in to make sure it's all evenly coated. So if your gravy is not as thick as this, you're basically going to be heating it and stirring it until it's simmered down. If that's the word, it's probably not. So you just want to do it so that you can easily run a fork or spoon through it and it pots for a little bit, so it's not too wet. So once your pie mixture starts to look a bit like this, it's basically done. So what you can do is you just leave it to the side, let it cool down, and then transfer it to the fridge for when you're ready to eat your pie. Or you can freeze this and save for later if you want to make a pie later, or if you just use a little bit, and then you can freeze the rest for later on, like I've said before. So we're just going to take it off the heat, and we're just going to leave it to set just on the side. And okay, so now that we've done the pie filling, we're going to get on to making the actual pie. So for this you will need a pie dish of some sort. No matter what size, this should fill a family size pie. I've just got like a little portion pie, one portion pie, so we'll get into that now. Okay, so once you've got your pastry, I'm assuming, I've never used this, so if I'm doing it bad then please do say. So this is the dish we are going to be using, so we just need to make sure that we're going to have enough to go into the dish as well. So let's maybe a bit more, and we shall cut that off. I should have got a knife, we can use this one. Then I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to use a, hopefully this is a bit too much for what I need, just in case. So I'm going to cut that off. Bowl. Now, fingers crossed this is as easy as it says it should be. Now, I'm not really hopeful, as you can tell. I don't know the best way. Let's fold it in. Alright, figured it out, guys. Okay, no, I haven't. This stuff stinks, by the way. Now yes, this is awfully being done. Like I said, it's my first time. And this stuff really does smell, which isn't great, but we'll see. So I'm just gonna get all this excess off just to
help me out a bit more when now because I've got a few tears in the bottom here, I'm just going to press some of our excess pastry into those holes for it. I'm not sure if you can layer this, but it's too late now, so I feel like this is going to be another cake video where it just all goes wrong, but you know, got to remain optimistic. Now, I didn't originally make a lot of holes, but from doing this I kind of created more. I'm just going to try and smooth all this out in here. So this is what it looks like at the moment. So I'll just focus you. Not too bad at the moment. I think you can see where I've been trying to jab my fingers in. Now again, I'm just going to go around the edges. Okay, so that's it, I guess. Sorry, that was a huge mess. Should be alright. And we'll begin the next step. So you want to preheat the oven at 200 degrees, and we're going to blind bake the pastry for 15 minutes, or around 15 minutes, basically until it's golden. So what you can also do is grab a knife and just make a little cross in the centre just to stop it from rising. I mean, that's not a cross, but again, this is me, so I apologise. So we're going to sit this in the oven for 15 minutes, give or take a few minutes. So once you've had your pastry in the oven for about 15 minutes, it should look a bit like this. And we'll get into filling it and topping it off with the puff pastry. Now we've got our pie base ready, we're just going to roll out some of the puff pastry for the top. I'm going to take the same knife that we used for that, and I'm just going to cut a average size off. Now we shall attempt again to just measure out. So yeah, so that's the right size, so you just want to make sure you've got that sorted. So now we are going to take our mince and we're just going to begin filling the pie up to a decent level. Okay, so once you've got your pie filled, we're going to take our crust, we're going to layer it on top, I'm just going to push all those edges in, and then of course we shall be cutting around it just to get rid of the excess. Fork, and you just want to get all those edges down. Now they won't be perfect just because we did cook the short crust pastry, however just getting it at least a little bit into should be fine. Now I'm not sure if this pie will be able to come out of the pie cup dish that we have, but we shall see. Now if you want, you can attempt to make a design on top. I might just have like a smiley face. So once you're at this stage, you just want to lightly coat or brush the top of the pastry with some dairy-free milk. Now just like before, we're going to be cooking this at 200 degrees, but this is going to be going in for 30 minutes. So we shall see you with the final product. Okay, so we've just taken the pie out of the oven. Down there. Now, as you can tell, the smiley face got a bit distorted, but all in all, it looks great. Now, I don't think I can take the pie out of the dish, which is a shame because I'd like to know if the short crust cooked well, because usually with pies that are like frozen that you can get, the crust in that tin tray is never really great. But I will eat this because this is going to be my tea, and then I'll come back with how it all was, whether it was okay, with the end of the video. So stay tuned. So I've just tried the pie and I must say it was really good. So I will definitely be trying this recipe again. Now the only issue I did have was that I couldn't get the pie out of the pot, but obviously that's not too much of an issue, because you just have the pot on the side if you've got other things, or if you're just having a pie then you just eat it straight from the pot, which is great. So that'll be it for this one, and I'll see you in the next cooking video, or if you want to tune into any of my streams, I stream most Fridays, so I'll see you then. Goodbye.